Hello everyone, welcome to a video. Today we will be discussing the 2024 election and just how the race is going so far. So yeah, let's just get into it. So currently the 2024 election is just kind of a mess, and it's been changing a lot in the past few days. Kamala was up for a little bit, now she's down. Trump was kind of figuring out what to attack her on, and now he's kind of figured out what he's supposed to be doing right now. And really, the chaos of Kamala kicking out Biden has kind of dissipated. I mean, it's basically been a whole month since she's launched her campaign, and Joe Biden is no longer the nominee, and DNC pretty much already over, and really, you got nothing else going on. So the official election has kicked off, and currently, right now, Kamala is just picking every single bad thing to sink her campaign, and Trump has finally found footing because Kamala is directly shooting herself in the foot. So, what has Kamala been doing that has been killing her campaign and is only going to lead to her losing a lot of supporters? Well, her strategy initially was just avoid all press, avoid explaining her policies because she has no defense on her policies because they are all crap. They are all failures, and she doesn't want to tie herself to especially the Biden White House because she doesn't exactly have a great track record when it comes to that because borders are, she failed at that. Pretty much every single policy that Joe Biden did, she was apparently the last person in the room. Don't want that to get out, but that was a relatively good strategy, is to avoid all of that. But now it seems like she directly wants to tie herself to that, and the policies that she doesn't keep, she goes even further in her radicalism and doesn't at all present a coherent vision. For one second, she's saying that she's a moderate, she's gonna unite America through joy. It really doesn't explain any policies. Now, she has to actually start explaining policies, and what she's currently promoting is absolutely insane. So, there was a long talk for a while about how Tim Walz was such a big problem. That wasn't really going to be that big of a problem. I mean, it definitely hurts her campaign, but you're not running against Tim Walz, and Trump really shouldn't have focused on that. I mean, just kind of run a few campaign ads, but really, her picking Tim Walz should only double down on the fact that she's a radical, but you should mainly be focusing on her radical policies. Well, Kamala is deciding to point out the fact that she openly supported the Inflation Reduction Act and other bills like that that caused the current problems that we're facing right now. She's just openly campaigning saying that she was the deciding vote, and that isn't exactly a great thing to do. We got the clip right here in case you need proof.
And I will work to pass the first ever federal ban on price gauging on food. My plan will include new penalties for opportunistic companies that exploit crises and break the rules.
So she's clearly just openly saying that she supports the bill and is actively bragging about how she got it passed, which that's not exactly a great policy position to have. And especially since Joe Biden, the whole reason you got him out is because he's unpopular and was losing the polls. Why would you directly try and tie yourself with the policies that initially caused him to be unpopular and for you guys to kick him out? Why would you do that? Especially after you're already the nominee. You're already nominated, so you can't be kicked out. Why would you tie yourself to that? Especially since Trump, he's been looking for fodder and dirt to dig up about you, and really he's only been going off of the fact that you flip your race every 5 seconds and you got a really weird laugh. Now, you're directly tying yourself to policies which Trump, he just needs to highlight that and say, well, this is what she's saying. She clearly doesn't give a crap and clearly isn't moderate. So she's just going to openly brag about her policies. Well, I'm going to point that out. And now, a big thing that she's been promoting is price gouging and how she's going to stop that. Apparently, all this inflation, despite her bragging about how she passed the Inflation Reduction Act, now the real cause of the high prices, because she can't deny the high prices because they are an undeniable fact, Now she's blaming that on price gouging, and her way to fix that is price control. That is quite possibly the worst policy proposal you could have possibly come up with. Because what that immediately did, and what pretty much everyone with a brain could see what was going to happen out of that, is that immediately Trump went for the communist attack line. And it's pretty obvious. I mean, price control, you don't exactly want that. And really, Americans just associate that with communism, and that doesn't really play into Kamala being a moderate, because moderates, they don't call for price control. Nobody who's moderate is calling for Soviet style price control. And immediately, all throughout the internet, communism is just being linked right to her. It's being spread everywhere. And Kamala, she doesn't really have an effective tactic to counter that, because she went out of her way to point that out and then propose a solution that immediately tied her to being a radical. She's somehow made herself more radical than Bernie Sanders, because even Bernie distanced himself from Cuba, even though he also kind of endorsed them. He made sure to distance himself away from that and completely denounced pretty much all of Cuba's policies outside of, for some reason, their literacy programs, which that doesn't really make any sense. But he didn't really exactly have a successful presidential run, so that didn't really help. But also, Kamala is just openly calling for policies that I don't think even Bernie Sanders would endorse. I don't think Bernie Sanders would even endorse price control. Even he is smart enough to realize that's a terrible policy to be openly promoting. And Kamala is just opening every single attack line of her being radical. You are running a campaign, which is 2020 Joe Biden's campaign, where you just hide in the basement and say that you're a moderate. You can't do that when you're openly promoting radical policies that even the most radical parts of your party will not openly say. You're moving the goalpost so far to the left that even Bernie Sanders seems more moderate than you. That is absolutely insane. That is insane talk. And the idea that's going to win you independents or moderate voters, you can have all the fake polling you want saying that you're going to win by 300 electoral votes. You're going to absolutely sweep the electoral college and win 10% of the popular vote. That doesn't make any sense. And especially since Kamala, she isn't going towards her moderate voters. She's openly campaigning for her radical base, and even then, her radical base isn't satisfied, because they will never be satisfied. She will continue to pander to her radical base, and her radical base will respond by openly calling her out and saying that she isn't radical enough. So Kamala will counteract that by going even more radical. That isn't an effective strategy at that campaign, and especially at the debate, because the debate, you can avoid all questions. You can avoid all questions from the Kamala friendly press. You can avoid all of those people. You can let them do the work. But as soon as you get on the debate stage, there's no friendly press there to help you. Maybe the moderators could help you a little bit, but Trump, he knows how to handle the moderators. He knows how to minimize their influence. And you need to answer to him. And Trump, he's not on your side. He's not going to give you friendly questions. He's going to openly call you out for promoting radical policies and lying about every single policy that you proposed, and pointing out how even some of the unpopular policies that you seem to want to distance yourself from, you openly brag about passing. That is a very effective route for Trump to go, and currently he's going that route, and he's pointing out the fact that she openly endorses the Inflation Reduction Act. She is openly calling for price control, which is only going to make it worse, because Trump, he should really be just going on the economy and immigration, because those are two of Kamala's weak points. Those are two policies where she's pretty open in what she wants in terms of both of them, where she wants radical immigration policies that basically just make us so we don't have a border anymore, and economic policy that is so radical that not even Bernie Sanders would endorse it. Not even he would openly endorse that. And again, you just gotta tie her to her radical policies that she isn't even hiding anymore. That's all you need to do. And then Kamala immediately loses the presidential election, because usually when you're a radical, you don't win the presidential election. Usually the most radical candidate is the one that loses the presidential election. Usually, moderating is a key ticket to getting independent voters and getting your moderate political allies. And Kamala, if she keeps going on this path, if she keeps openly promoting radical policies, she is going to lose. The polling doesn't matter. The polling is complete and utter dog shit. All of the polling that has been done showing that Kamala is supposedly up 5 to 4 points, that is complete bullshit. That is not real. You can promote all that fake polling and you can get all that PR press and get all the free money you want. If you openly state that you are for radical policies and give fodder to your opponent for absolutely no reason, Kamala is going to lose and Trump will win. Trump just needs to focus on the policies and how radical she is, and Kamala just needs to keep giving him fodder and Trump will win. Trump will have a easy victory. It's not going to be relatively easy right now, but as long as you keep it on the mark and keep focusing and working your ass off to winning the swing states and maybe expanding the electoral college, but we haven't quite got there, you will have a much easier shot at winning than if Kamala stops promoting radical policies and just hides in the basement. But she isn't doing that, which is really odd because it seemed to be working for her, but now she is actively going out of her way to make so her campaign is tied to radicalism and is openly promoting radical policies. That is a terrible campaign strategy, and it kind of just shows that Kamala is really an idiot. She just is. There's no denying it now because nobody with a sensible mind would take your strategy that has been working for a month and openly just throw it out of the window in favor of radicalism. It doesn't make any sense. But it does make sense if you are a radical yourself and a complete idiot. But, anyways, do you think Kamala is actually going to be affected, or is the media just going to hide every single radical policy that she's openly promoting? Do you think Trump will be able to effectively jump on this? Currently, right now, he's doing pretty well at it, but, anyways, leave in the comments below and like and subscribe as always. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.